A third day of unrest in Los Angeles over Donald Trump's crackdown on immigration. Hundreds of National Guard troops have already taken up positions in the city on the orders of the president, with a total of 2,000 being sent in. Their task is to restore order, but protesters have again clashed with law enforcement officers. Angry crowds are demanding the release of dozens of people detained earlier by federal immigration agents. California Governor Gavin Newsom opposes the use of National Guard troops, but Donald Trump says the state's leaders have failed to protect citizens and federal authorities will uphold the rule of law.
Well, we're going to have troops everywhere. We're not going to let this happen to our country. We're not going to let our country be torn apart like it was under Biden and his auto pen.
What is the bar for sending Marines to
the bar is what I think it is. I mean, if we see danger to our country and to our citizens, we'll be very, very strong in terms of law and order. It's about law and order.
Now let's bring in Jayson Campadonia from NBC News and iHeart Radio. He is in the Paramount area of Los Angeles. Jayson, how does the city feel today?
Tensions are very, very high. Just behind me, just past that tree line there, is where tensions really escalated, and the protest that started out peaceful boiled over into violence and vandalism and people getting hurt as the pro-immigrant activists stood their ground against the military coming in and asking them to disperse. We heard that the protests are going to be gathered here again tonight. So I'm here to get some staging and see if we can get access to some of the insider information. What we do know right now is that there are 3 protests happening in downtown LA, which is only about 5 miles this way. And there's the 3 protests that are going to converge into one in about an hour's time and create a massive protest at Los Angeles City Hall, protesting the immigration and customs enforcement agents pulling raids across the city of Los Angeles. So tensions are very, very high. We get the feeling that we're gearing up for a heavyweight fight. There's a flyer floating around social media asking people for what's being called massive mobilization against the ICE agents being in Los Angeles. We're hearing that ICE may conduct raids in 6 cities. As I was driving over here, I was getting tips from local law enforcement officials letting me know that ICE is at this corner, ICE is at that corner in different parts of the city. So things could really, really get heated in a matter of moments from now.
It's getting pretty heated as we speak. We're seeing live pictures there from downtown Los Angeles, where there already are some scuffles, apparently with the National Guard. Now, as we see, the National Guard has arrived. Are they helping or hindering the situation?
Well, that depends on who you ask, right? So if you ask the activists, they're hindering. They shouldn't be here at all. Why would you call the military here when we're just conducting a peaceful protest? But if you ask law enforcement, they have to be here. They're playing a crucial role in protecting the federal agents who are just trying to do their job of finding the illegal immigrants and then putting them into detention centers so they can be interviewed, so their paperwork can be looked through and things like that. Even local law enforcement is saying that the National Guard being here is a last resort, but you got to remember that these ICE agents are family men too. They don't deserve to be hit in the head with rocks or glass bottles or be beaten with anything that these violent agitators can find. And what we're seeing here is that the protests start out peaceful, and those are the people who are sticking to the freedom of speech, the First Amendment right here in America. And then what we're seeing is when the cops show up or the military personnel shows up with their big giant guns and their big giant vehicles, that's really agitating some of those demonstrators, some of those protesters, and then that's when the violence starts. It's not the fact that they're here; it's more a fact that the activists are feeling oppressed by the military, and that's never a conducive collaborative environment, if you will.
Jayson Campadonia there, reporting from Los Angeles. Thank you very much, Jayson.
Thank you.
Let's bring in our reporter Stefan Simons in Washington for more. Stefan, National Guard troops have arrived in Los Angeles. Are they going to calm the situation, you think?
Yeah, 300 have arrived. 300 out of 2,000 the president ordered to be deployed in and around L.A. They are stationed at 3 checkpoints, 3 points around L.A. I would think they are in Paramount City, Paramount, and in Compton. This is where the riots on Saturday just still flamed up. L.A. itself was calm on Saturday. However, to your question, will this calm anything down? Well, it is supposed to serve as a deterrent for more riots or violence. But the fact is that National Guard troops deployed are having no law enforcement power. They are more or less, many say, eye candy. The Governor Newsom from California said that the Trump administration did this to create a spectacle. And a lot of people think that is actually the case here. Why? Because those National Guard troops, they can at best function as a deterrence. You know, if you have soldiers with helmets and M16s, even though they are not loaded in most cases, standing around in front of Humvees and other personal carrier material, that can create a deterrence. But law enforcement authority lies fair and square with law enforcement. So is it a political stunt? Is it eye candy? Or is it really necessary? That is the question.
Now, what do you think we can expect today?
I think most people are hopeful to see a calming down in and around L.A. As we have pointed out in this report, you know, there is a little bit of shaky or a debate, at least, why those National Guard troops are there and why the reaction of the Trump administration was as it is. But the legal grounds are Title 10 and the Insurrection Act, actually. So the president has the right to deploy National Guard troops. Normally, this is a thing governors, state governors do, but the federal feds can trump, no pun intended here, decisions or non-decisions of the governor. Now, the governor said it's, again, all to create a spectacle. It will not help at all. It really largely depends on how in the communities things are felt and seen today and in the coming days forward.
Yes, talking about these communities, LA has a large migrant community. How are they dealing with the situation, briefly, if you can?
Well, you see, now our focus is on LA and surrounding areas, or California, if you will. Well, the same rates of this magnitude are happening all over the country. Just 2 weeks ago, there was a massive raid on a construction site in Florida, 100+ people detained, and it almost didn't make the headlines here in the US, but internationally not so much. However, the point is that there is lots going on in those communities. Those communities are basically trapped in fear for weeks, for months nowadays. Students who don't go to school anymore, they don't feel comfortable to go to school anymore. There is businesses who are not comfortable operating anymore. There are people not working anymore. They're not going to the doctors, etc. So this Trump policy of getting as many illegal immigrants, undocumented people out of the country, a promise from the campaign of Donald Trump. This puts a lot of people into, well, fear.
DW reporter Stefan Simons there, reporting from Washington. Thank you, Stefan.